So let's start working with Linux. So in order to work with Linux environment, first you need to install the Linux. So in order to install Linux, I am going for VMware Workstation, where I'll be creating this as a new virtual machine. So in order to create a new virtual machine, first click on the option create a new virtual machine. Then in this new virtual machine wizard, you have two of the option. One is typical and custom. Out of this, you select typical. Then click next. You have three options. Either you can install to disk, or you can install by using a disk image file, or you can give a third option where you will be installing the operating system later. I'll go for this third option. I will install the operating system later. Then click next. So here I have to specify what is my guest operating system. So here I'll be choosing, since it's a Linux, I'll say it's Linux. And then I have to specify which version of Linux I am going to install. So mine is Red Hat Linux 64-bit. So I choose Red Hat Linux 64-bit, and then I can go for the next option. Here I have to define my name for the virtual machine. So I say Red Hat Linux 64-bit, and then it is by default stored in some of the locations called C user Benson's document virtual machine. So that would be your default location where actually I'll just name it as 1. Then next, so you have to save it here as you have to specify the disk capacity. So maximum disk size is 20 GB, and since I am going to split up the virtual disk into multiple files, I'll be selecting this option. Then go for the next option. Here I'll be going for customizing the hardware. So in that I'll be choosing the option CD DVD, and since I haven't selected my image file yet, I have to choose that ISO image file. I'll browse for the image file, and here I'll be finding at my Red Hat Linux file. I'll open it. Then I'll go for the network adapter setting. Here there are some three options: bridge, NAT and host only. Out of it I'll choose host only, and then I'll go for the next option. So I'll close this window, then I'll finish this. So once I click on the finish option, you can see my Red Hat environment. This installation step would move further. So I have to first power on this virtual machine. So now you have the option of either doing installation or upgrading an existing system. You have to just wait for some seconds and the installation takes place. Then there is an option to either click OK or skip. You have to select skip option. So next you have the option here. So you just click next. As you can see, the Red Hat is getting installed. You have to choose the language of installation process. So I'm choosing English. Then click next. Then you have to choose the keyboard language as well. So you'll be choosing US English. Click next. Then there are two options: basic storage device and specified storage device. Click basic storage device, then click next. And there are four options available now: ignore all, reinitialize and reinitialize all. So I'm going to choose reinitialize all, and now it is going to ask for a domain name of the computer. So let it be localhost.local domain, and then click next. So now I have to choose which time zone we are going to use. So ours is Asia, Kolkata. Click next. Now it is asking for me for entering the root password. So I'll be entering the root password. So the root password which I'm going to use is TYIT user. So it's TYIT USER. Click next. So it is asking me, it's a weak password, so I'll be clicking use it anyway. Then it is giving me some number of different types of installation which I can do, but here I'll be going for create custom layout. Then click next. So on doing customization, I require to partition my disk space. So first I'll be doing partition of disk space. So click on create. Then here it is asking create partition. So I'll choose standard partition, click create, and here I'll first specify that I will be going for root partition. So for the root directory I'll be choosing mount point as slash, and since it's a file ext4, and I will define the size. So the size would be 10,000 MB. Since it's a root partition, I'll check this force to be a primary partition. Then click OK. So now I have to create other partition as well. So I'll just click create. Again I'll go for create partition. Here I'll define the mount point. So in order to create swap space, I'll choose file system type as swap. Then the size would be 4000 MB, and then I'll just click OK. In order to create a boot partition, again I'll go for the same process. Here I'll define the mount point as slash boot, and then I'll define the size of the boot as 2000 MB. Then just click OK. So once that is done, you can see all the partitions are created. So one is for boot, swap and root. Then I'll click on next. It is asking me to format it, so I'll say format, and then I'll click write changes to disk. So here by default it gives some description. We don't have to do anything with that, just click next. Now it is asking me to do installation of the software. So I'll choose desktop. Then since Red Hat is already selected, I'll just choose the option of customize now. Then click next. Here it is giving me option to customize the way I want to do installation. So first I'll go for base system. In that I'm going to choose this network tools, and then I have to choose this performance tool, and I'll be choosing the security tool checkboxes. Then for server, I'll be checking this email server, FTP server, NFS server, and I'll choose this print server. Then the next is web services. I'll be choosing web server and web servlet engine. For database, I will be selecting MySQL database client and MySQL database server. For system management, I'll be selecting messaging client support and messaging server support. And then comes desktop. I'll be selecting KDE desktop, whereas you can see other desktops are already selected. Then I'll just click next. As you can see, all that things we have selected, all the options we have selected is getting loaded as a package, and the installation process is going on. So next we click on reboot option. This will reboot the entire system. Click on forward option. Then you have to agree on the license agreement. Click forward, and then it says some software updates, so we'll just click forward. Then it is asking you to create one user, so I'm going to create one user, RJCIT. And I'm going to set the password as RJCIT user, RJCIT user. Then just click forward. So it says it's a weak password. You say use it anyway. You click yes. Then just click on synchronize date and time over network. Forward it. It says insufficient memory to configure kdump. You just click OK, and then just click on finish. So here, this is the screen which appears once the installation is completely done. It is asking you to first log in. You can either log in as a RJCIT user, or you can log in as a root user. So in order to log in as a root user, click on other, type username as root, click login, your password, that is TYIT user, login. So as you can see now, your Linux environment has been set. So you can start working with this Linux operating system. So if you want to check, see here, you can see it's a root user. Now in case you want to log out of this, you can log out or root, and you can switch to a different user. And in case you want to shut down, you just click shut down. So this will just shut down your system. So that's the end of installation of Linux operating system.